Good afternoon. My name is Ricardo Roberto, and I am the lead for the Government Affairs Committee for the Coppell Chamber of Commerce. As one of our initiatives for the Chamber, we try to present local candidates for government. We want our community to know who represents them. We do not have a political agenda. That's very important. As a business organization, we believe that we represent the companies who are members of the Chamber and our community. It is not our place to suggest that someone is better than another candidate, and we're very impartial in our approach. So today I'm very happy to be presenting to you Carol Lacey McGuire, who is running for the Coppell ISD Board of Trustees. And welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I'm Carol Lacey McGuire. I am a Coppell girl raising Coppell girls. I graduated K through 12 here in the district, class of 2004. After attending Texas A&M, I came back to work at the Container Store in our marketing department, which is also here in Coppell, before moving on to KPMG. I've been at KPMG for the past 10 years and have had 3 distinct careers, one in consulting, one in human resources, and most recently as the chief of staff of our partner in charge of IT at the firm. The skills that I've acquired during those distinct careers that I've had have prepared me to add immediate value to the board with project management experience, communications experience, and talent development experience. I'm very excited to be running for place 3 for the Coppell ISD board.
And that's a wonderful transition for me to ask questions. So why are you running for public office, and what makes you think you would make a good Coppell ISD trustee?
I know I answered that second part a little bit already. Sorry for stealing your thunder.
Okay. No, that's all right.
I appreciate it. No, when the big reason why I'm running for office, when we started doing research, I have a 6-year-old who's in kindergarten at Cottonwood Creek and a 1-year-old named Kate. And when we started preparing for being kindergarten parents and looking at the composition of the board, we realized that after this May, there will not be a district elementary parent on the board. In fact, 4 of our 7 trustees after May don't have children in the district at all. And while I feel that voice is important to have, it feels over-indexed. We need parents in leadership. We need parents who are engaged. We need parents who are connected to what's happening in our schools. And I think a big part of that is making sure that we have people who are willing to step up. And so I am one of those people who's not going to sit on the sidelines and say, I wish somebody else would take care of this. I felt compelled to run to make sure that we do have parents in leadership who are engaged on the board.
Okay, so that gives me a pretty good idea of why you're running, what's motivating you. Answer the second part of the question a little bit. What makes you think that you would be a good trustee for our school district?
It's a great question. So I think for me, my discrete careers that I have had have prepared me to add immediate value to the board. Between project management, when you think about the key components of what a board member does, it's budgeting, it's setting tax rate, it's determining policy, it's strategic visioning for both hiring a superintendent as well as managing what they are doing as far as their goals for the year. And so those pieces are all facets that I have had experience doing in my career across both at the Container Store and at one of the big 4 accounting firms. The question I get is that KPMG is not in fact a radio station, as some might think it is. It's one of the big 4 accounting firms. And so I've had tremendous opportunities for growth and development within that space. Having been an HR professional, I've actually been the person who's been developing others as well. And so I think that specific opportunity will be a way that I can serve the board and serve the teachers and administrators that we have here that call Coppell home.
Great. Okay. And what are the most important issues that you see facing Coppell ISD, and how will you work to resolve or promote them? There are things that are more necessary that they be promoted as opposed to fixing them.
Absolutely. I think that we need to take a back to basics approach to education. I think COVID has been hard on everybody. It's been hard on teachers, it's been hard on parents, and absolutely it's been so hard on our students. I think that when we have students who are multiple grade levels behind in reading, writing, math, then we need to be focused on the core purpose of education, which is reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. I think that the extras that we have in Coppell are best in class, and I'm so proud of that. However, we have to be able to focus on the fundamentals of what education is until we have recovered from COVID learning loss. I think another piece that we need to really focus on is technology. Technology is supposed to be a learning aid, not a replacement for learning. I think that there is undervalued currently approach to memorization. I think you need to be able to know the times tables. I think you need to be able to know how to spell. And right now we have friends of ours who have 4th and 5th graders who have never taken a spelling test, who can't be convinced that they need to know what punctuation looks like in a sentence because they can just use their phone and dictate the text that they want to have written down. They'll have red lines that will correct their grammar and their punctuation and their spelling. That's a problem. We need to be able to go back to basics. I also think that we need to look at our data and the students' data that is being gathered by third-party vendors. We work with iStation, Schoology, Panorama, and a host of others. And while some of their data is specifically prohibited from being monetized, a significant portion of it is. And these technology companies that are largely privatized and funded by big, huge tech companies like Zuckerberg and the Gates Foundation, they have immense amount of data on our children because they're on iPads consistently throughout the day. And so I want to make sure that we are looking at what is our data protection program and how are we safeguarding our children from this data that they're going to have 13 years potentially if they go K through 12 in our district and in our system. Those are some of the key pieces that I think we need to focus on. And then lastly is our budget. We've run a deficit budget for the last couple of years. We got a huge tax rebate from the Dallas County, which kind of gave us a big influx of income last year, which saved otherwise what was slated to be a $7 million deficit. I think we need to take a look at that. We also have a big bond committee that's going to be being formed as we speak. I expect the bond for next year's election, May 2013 or 2023, is going to be a big one. We have a significant number of capital expenditures that we need to be looking at. The district's done a great job of inviting the community to take part in the visioning sessions to talk about what matters to them, whether it's an auditorium, a fine arts center, how we're approaching our other key pieces of what we think we need to be focused on for the next decade. There's going to be a lot of really important decisions that are coming up, and the budget's going to be one of those that we need to focus on.
Okay, so right now what I'm hearing from you is 3 big issues, and that's back to basics, using technology to protect our children and not letting them rely on it so deeply, and then budget, and then that leads to the bond process. Are there any other issues that you think you might have missed?
Those are the big ones. I think one of the questions I get asked more than anything else, one of the first questions that our parents are asking is about critical race theory. And so I want to just be very clear and address my stance on critical race theory. So I am very much against it. It is not supposed to be taught in our district. It's not supposed to be taught in the state of Texas. There was legislation passed. And my understanding is that while it's not being taught in the district, there are places where parents have been vigilant and have been paying attention and have brought their concerns to teachers and administrators to make sure that it doesn't get taught, that it doesn't have an opportunity to slip in. I think another key topic that I get asked consistently as a candidate is what is the stance that I have on the discretion and the amount of latitude that librarians and teachers have and what books are available in both libraries and classrooms. I think that that needs to be a partnership. I do not think that a librarian or a teacher should have unilateral decision-making when it comes to the materials that are in schools. I also think that our students are exposed to so much so early on that the more that we can do to protect their innocence, to protect their childhood, that we absolutely should. Sexually explicit content should not be in our libraries. There's a place for that, and it's the public library. There's a place for that, and it's on Amazon or other places where books are concerned, where you can purchase books. But that's another key topic that I get asked consistently as a candidate that I want to make sure that is very clear of where I stand on that as well.
Okay, you have been very succinct. So we have a couple minutes. Is there anything else you want to add, or do you think that this is the message that you want to conclude with? You know, just you've given them enough information. You want to just maybe go take care of your children. heavens. Is there anything
Luckily,
else?
my kindergartner is in school today, thank heaven, as well as my 1-year-old. She's finally at school as well. We've had some sickness this week. There's a stomach bug going around, but no, I'm very excited for a chance to give back to the district in this way. I am a hometown girl. I'm all in for the city. So my husband and I moved back 5 years ago. My parents are still here. My older brother lives 3 streets away, and I love this town. I'm going to be a CISD parent for the next 17 years. And so I will have relevancy in this space for a very long time. And I'm excited for the chance to serve and to give back. I think that, as I said, we need parents in leadership. We need parents who have skin in the game. My skin in the game are named Claire and Kate, and I want to serve for them. I want to serve for all students. I want to serve to ensure that the legacy that I benefited from as a class of 2004 is passed on to every other class for the next decades to come. I think there's a lot of really important decisions about education that are going to be made in the next year, 5 years, 10 years. And I would love to have a seat at the table to be able to serve and support the students and parents and teachers and administrators here in Coppell. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, my why, and a little bit of my heart for why I'm running for this position.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And everyone should be getting out to vote. Early voting begins on the 25th. You can visit our website or Coppell ISD's website to find the places to vote. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.